Garage, the greatest automotive channel in all of YouTube land, and behold the time machine video. Bob is the maker of this reimagined time machine. Literally epic. Are you kicking?
Is that how you do it?
Yeah, that's how Tyler has taught me, and I'm supposed to do the kick. I'm not sure why though, but Tyler does have nice legs.
Not as nice as yours.
So, well, thank you. Okay, I'm not. You could probably sell that for art for $1 million. So wait,
it's Mr. Fuchsia.
Bob, you literally built this by hand, and it is an exact replica recreation of the time machine. How many have you made?
I think this is our 50th car. I have a team of people who help us with this, and Bob's Prop Shop. We've been in Dallas, Texas for many years. Now I'm moving to Las Vegas. I've been out there for a while. We're moving the shop there. And yeah, we've built 50 of these. This one's going to the Midwest Dream Car Collection in Kansas here. We have cars at both Universal Studios locations and in collections and museums all over the world, all over the planet.
Right, and you were telling me, like DeLoreans, the value is starting to go up, so they're harder to source and actually make money when you recreate them and sell them. Is that a newer thing? Like, why do you think DeLoreans are becoming more valuable?
I think that the people that are my age, that are Gen X nerds who love Back to the Future, can afford them now, and now they're fighting over them.
Right.
When I started doing this 20 years ago, I could pick up a DeLorean for 15 grand all day long.
Like a good, clean one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 20 grand was a premium museum quality car back then. Now you're going to pay at least $75,000 maybe for a really nice car that's a runner driver, and maybe 40, 50 for a junker. And these cars, as turnkey vehicles, we sell them starting at about 150, but it's getting harder to do that because as the cost of materials and labor and things have increased, the cars are going for a lot more money. You just had one at Barrett-Jackson, one of my cars that was Mr. Berkowitz's, and it sold way too cheap because they didn't bother even turning it on or cleaning it up. It was not in great shape.
We needed you there to display it and show us,
I had been there to
do the Vanna White presentation.
Yeah.
So how correct is this? Like, did you watch the movie and like pause it over and over again, or did you get to inspect like the actual real original one?
Oh yes, I inspected. I had some help from the guy that built the original car, a guy named Kevin Pike.
Okay.
Him and his team built the original cars for the film. He's a good friend, a mentor, and he gave me a lot of his schematics and drawings and things, and I got to inspect the original car. It's not exactly screen correct because there's a lot of things that we had to change to make it livable. Like in the real car, there would be no back window here. This would just be an open, you could be able to see into the back cab.
Okay.
So we waterproof that. Another thing we changed is on these vents back here, we've opened them up so you can see the taillights.
Right.
But on the real car, this would be just totally blocked out, and it kind of blocks out the taillights.
So it'd be illegal, pretty much?
Yeah, to make it where you can see them, and normally you would have to unbolt this to take this off, but we made quick access that you could just get to the engine.
What?
So the original DeLorean engine is just under here, and you need to be able to get to it in a hurry in case, you know, because it's DeLorean.
Does anyone ever swap these out?
Oh yeah, people put LS motors in them, electrify them, I have a good friend in Vegas, has a Lotus V8 in his.
Yeah.
I've seen all kinds of conversions. I mean, you can engine swap almost anything. And I kind of discourage it because with all this stuff on the car, you don't want to be going super fast in the first place. You actually...
That's the first time I've ever heard a guy say that, ever. Which I get it, because you don't want the pieces to kind of fall off and
No, that's
fly
not
off.
a problem. Nothing's going to come off, but everything's on here super tight. I tell my guys, everything has to be where you can grab it and shake the car.
Okay.
Right?
What are these? Because they look like missiles.
They come off of like a helicopter, I think, or an airplane.
Okay.
So most of these things are military parts. But what I was saying is that most of the time you're going to be driving this car slow. You're going to be in a parade.
Right.
You're going to be pulling it in a building, going to a car show. So the goal is to make this car drive slow, without overheating,
right,
to run smoothly.
Without draining the battery, because you have so many electronics sucking it right now.
We have a solution for that under the trunk.
Is that okay?
We've gone to lithium-ion. We're no longer using the Mr. Fusion. So we use a 200-amp lithium-ion phosphate battery system with a Xantrex 2000 converter. This is something that would go on an RV, a boat, or an off-grid system. This runs the fog machine that you see shooting out the back.
That's so cool. This is amazing.
The car produces enough power that in an emergency you could plug your house into it and use it as an emergency.
That's great. Can you take me through like inside and what's going on? Of course, there's the flux capacitor.
The flux capacitor is what makes time travel possible.
Right.
Of course, Doc Brown talks about that thing. So we hand make all of this stuff. We have some of it outsourced. We have the electronics done for us by a great guy out of France.
Right.
And he makes that stuff. But basically, we just kind of had to figure it out.
So I got to ask you, like, as I know the speedometer only goes to 85, but in the movie it has to go to 88. Is it illegal to switch that out to be correct?
No, if you look closely, you'll see that our speedometer goes to 95.
Right, but is that like, are you going to be in trouble for doing that and changing that?
There was a regulation back in the 80s. They thought if we only make the speedometer go to 85, nobody will drive past 85.
That doesn't happen.
So because in the movie they needed to go 88 and the speedometer went to 85, they put a custom 95 mile an hour speedometer in there. So that's what we do. Every car we have to take the dash out, take it apart, and put a 95 mile an hour decal over the original.
Right.
Because people get in and they go, hey, it only says 95.
Sure.
But that digital speedometer on top of the dash is GPS operated, so when you're driving it gives you the actual speed.
What?
And it actually performs this little demo mode.
Okay.
Let me just press this button. Now pay attention to the speedometer. The speedometer goes up to 88. The flux capacitor goes bright. The needles move and it goes through time. Here it goes. So now, you'll notice the dates have changed. We're now in November 5th, 1955.
That's so cool.
And if I were to reset the system, remember he turns it back on and we're out of plutonium. Oh no, I'm gonna have to put another banana in the Mr. Fusion. And then I reset it like this. And everything's back to normal.
That is so cool.
One banana, one trip. There we go.
That is so
The fact that you can go on Amazon and buy rubber bananas.
They're actually very squishy is all I'm going to say. That's the only adjective I'm going to use.
I don't know what those are for, but
this is so cool.
What
What's this part up here?
I don't know.
Okay,
We've
cool.
never figured out what that is. It's called the wormhole emitter or the tachyon generator.
Ooh, tachyon generator.
We've never figured out what it actually is.
Yeah.
But I do have a fun story about this rubber matting.
Yeah.
This rubber matting used to be like floor mat.
Sure.
But they don't make it anymore. And it's really hard to get. Now, as you know, I'm a big Elvis fan.
Yes.
I have a TCB tattooed on me. I always wear my
Yes, you do.
TCB necklace. I was in Graceland in Memphis,
Yes.
staying at the hotel there at Graceland. I stepped off the elevator and I looked down and there was this rubber mat.
And you took it?
I borrowed it.
Stop it.
I rolled it up, I put it in my truck. Every time machine we build has a little bit of Graceland rubber mat stolen from the second floor of the Heartbreak Hotel.
That's really cool.
Don't sue me.
That's really cool.
I don't care.
And a great idea.
There's
Good way to
a little
source
bit of
things.
Elvis in every single car that we make. If I could go back in time, I would go back to Las Vegas,
Yeah.
to the Hilton, see Elvis perform there at the International.
Right.
And those are the things that people ask me all the time. If you had a time machine, what would you do?
Sure.
I'd go back and see Van Halen at the Whiskey, and I'd go back and watch concerts. And
That would be incredible. Of course, bet on the Super Bowl, in the future. Go back and see that and be a millionaire.
I don't need that because I have
You have all the good
I have
stuff.
the Sports Almanac.
Right.
There it is. 50 years of sports statistics.
Yes. Wait, so in the movie, do you know if they originally wanted the DeLorean or were they kind of shopping for other cars?
They were originally going to use a refrigerator.
Like, I saw that and I read that and I thought it was kind of like lore
Yeah.
someone made up. That's actually
Ford
factual.
had come to them and offered them a bunch of money to use the Mustang, and Bob Gale cursed them out of the office because I'm not a fan of Mustangs either, so there's one. Ah. Ah.
There have been a couple. Wait, why don't you like Mustangs?
Because I'm a Firebird guy.
Okay.
See, I loved the TV show Knight Rider as a
Yeah.
kid. So my first car was a Pontiac Firebird.
Right.
And I just had to have it. So growing up in high school, the natural enemy of the Firebird was the
Sure.
Fox body Mustang. And you were either on Team Mustang or you were
Right.
Team
Well,
Firebird.
Mustang's like more mainstream, and you're
Or you
more
went
of an
the
individual.
Japanese route, like people had the ZXs and stuff, which were also cool. But I have like 5 Trans Ams now. I have
Sure.
a Knight Rider car. We have another one at the shop with an LS swap in
Yeah.
it, which is way too powerful for that car. So yeah, we've done 50 of these, and then about 4 Ecto ones. We've done a dozen Knight Riders, Bluesmobiles, 18 vans. So we've done 100 and something cars, and I'm moving the shop to Vegas. I'm going to slow the production
Yeah.
down a bit, and just kind of enjoy living out there. I like
Do
it.
you think John DeLorean was crazy for building this car to begin with back in the 80s?
Well, everything he did about this was crazy because he wanted to build what he called an ethical sports car. So the car is made out of fiberglass and stainless steel, and as you can see here, after 40 plus years, they look mint.
Yeah.
They don't rust. It gets pretty good gas mileage.
Even
and,
with all this equipment on it, because it's really heavy, it still gets good
you know,
gas
it's really only a
mileage?
couple hundred pounds worth of stuff. So it's like having as Insane Clown Posse would say, a carload of Faygo and a fat chick.
Because you
it's
have
not
to
that big a
trust what
deal.
ICP says, right?
Yeah, it's really not that much weight. It's like having me driving with Car Wizard sitting in this. It's
Okay.
not, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and a couple of tacos in his pocket. So basically, the car wasn't ever fast. It was a bit of a dog. Originally, it was going to have a different engine in it. They couldn't make that happen. And they were only in production a year. They were going to put a twin turbo in there that would have doubled the horsepower. But
Right.
they just didn't make it. They were building this thing in Northern Ireland. They were subsidized by the British government. And, you know, then he tried to go out and raise money. There was
Right.
this controversy over drug dealing and,
There's a
and
lot
money
of controversy
laundering and all these other things.
Well, I know.
And-
So the model is like the DMC 12 because he wanted to sell it for $12,000, ended up being double.
Yeah, 'cause he wanted to
similar story
compete with the Corvette.
Right, similar story to the Cybertruck, I feel like, and it's a similar kind of look and feel. Obviously, a completely different car. But are you seeing like Elon and going down that road where John DeLorean kind of took a wrong turn?
I will say that what Elon has done is amazing because it's very, very few car companies have started and stayed successful. I mean, you think about how many we've lost over the last 10 or 15 years and people that have tried to, like Fisker, you know.
Sure.
They've tried to make cars, companies, and they just fail one after the other. So, you know, he was only in business for a year. They made about 9,000 cars. They had about enough stuff left over to build about 1,000 cars. So that's all down in Houston. So, and they're even remanufacturing panels. So believe it or not, you can get everything you want for this car.
That's great.
Whereas a lot of other defunct cars, you can't get anything for it.
Right.
You can get everything for this car. So I think that's one of the reasons their values have jumped is because people can now afford to fix them up. They
Right.
find these barn finds all the time. I think Urination Bob has sold his for like 80 grand, you know.
He
So.
loved it. And then whenever you're at a car show, just a stock DeLorean, everyone still wants to check it out because it reminds them of the
Sorry,
movie. Which is, what's the hardest part about building this? Is there like a piece that's just hard to recreate or
These
source?
rails. These rails
These-
are done completely by hand. We just do it with a, well, you have conduit everywhere.
Right.
Right? So one of your electricians, when he made that bend, this is just actually electrical conduit. When he takes that bend right there, he uses probably what we have is just a bender, and you just by hand, you just like that.
Right.
And so you have to keep these at perfect parallels. So the bend on this and the bend on this is two completely different bends, and making these perfect so that they stay perfectly parallel. It takes probably a week to
Right.
make all of the rails, mount these rubber brackets, cut all this metal mesh, rivet them together, and put the lighting in it. So it's very difficult to do that. The welding on this is bad on purpose
Okay.
because that's how the original was.
Yeah.
Because Doc Brown made it in his garage behind a Burger King.
Yeah, he did. It was a
mean-
great movie. Here's the thing: if I go back in time, I would like to, meet Tyler earlier, perhaps, and recreate kind of what we
before
have
the
now.
vasectomy?
Before, it would just be nice to have known him for a longer time. Is that a good idea, or do you think like I just need to leave it and
Have you
meet him?
seen his earlier videos?
I am thrilled.
That's the
I mean,
problem.
like-
Where are you, Tyler? Get over here. There. Oh, he's up there. Are you coming down here?
I've seen his early videos. And, you know, he was much more awkward and unsure of himself.
Much
back then.
more. So you're saying he's still awkward?
I said much more.
Okay, yeah.
He's still quite awkward. He farts a lot.
Hello.
Oh, hey. How you doing? How are things?
There's a time machine in here.
There's a time
You like
machine.
this?
Yes.
It's amazing. It's incredible. But, like, you've driven one before.
Not a time machine.
You've never driven one?
I've owned a DeLorean and
You
it
had a
was a
DeLorean.
terrible driving experience. But
Right.
yes.
Are
Is this
we?
one a
are-
stick?
It's manually operated.
Whoa, that's impressive. Okay.
My personal one is actually an automatic, not because I can't drive it, but just because it makes it easier for parades and things, because I use it in a lot of those events. One of my guys that works for me, Omar, was just recently cracked his head, I think on this very door, and bleeding everywhere. I mean, you have to be really careful, and look how sharp that thing is.
Yeah.
So please be careful.
like
and it's
again,
one of those
yes.
things about these cars. It's just like, and y'all are tall. Michael J. Fox was this little guy, you know.
Yeah, but John DeLorean, he's a big guy,
He
and
was
he
tall
fit
also.
in it perfectly.
That's why you see a picture of him sitting on the hood.
Right? Oh,
You
this
know?
is so cool. Tyler, if you could go back in time, what would you do? Where would you go?
Oh, I go back and do a lot of things over again, honestly. and
Oh,
stuff
if we
like
could go back and buy
that.
cars.
Oh, well, that would be a big one. Yes. Going back when they were $7,000, put it away in like a salt mine, like Doc Brown did with this one. You know, abandon mine and then pull it out.
Right.
Or you
Yeah.
could just buy $7,000 worth of any stock back then, and then you could buy all of those cars you wanted. See,
I
that's the
suppose.
dichotomy with that.
But to witness an event, you talked about a concert, Elvis. That would be.
I would go see
amazing.
concerts.
and then go see the Rat Pack doing their thing at the Sands too. That would be amazing.
Right?
Red
Yeah.
Fox's old house is around the block from mine where he used to live. And there's all these great, and they're not that big of homes also, but there's all these great places where, like you mentioned, Golden Steer, you know, I always go there and sit at the Rat Pack table.
Some amazing
I-
steakhouse where the Rat Pack would go. Yeah.
So I love that era of entertainment, you know. And we still have Wayne Newton. He's still playing at the Flamingo every day, which is insane.
Right.
But I would go back and watch shows. Imagine watching Martin and Lewis or Sammy Davis Jr. or any of those things. That's what I would do, because I think experiences are what people love the most. And that's what people love about this car. It just seems to whisk them away to 1985. Brings back all those great memories of playing Pac-Man and, you know, watching the Breakfast Club, and just the music, the times, the movies, the food, everything was just great back then. And I wouldn't want to live past 1985. Still have cell phones.
Right.
Still have cable, color TV, video games.
99, 2000.
I know, but
maybe,
you get in '85. You know, you still got Atari. You
Yeah.
got Nintendo first generation come out. You got in '86. You know, you all the great movie musics, air conditioning. You know, you still have basic modern convenience. I mean, if you have money, you go buy Apple stock. You'd be rich real quick.
That's true. I like it.
You and April should go out there and try and find 88 in this thing.
Whoa. I'm going to get pulled
I've seen your
over.
local cops last night, and no, I think we'll keep it at the speed limit.
I'll just cover up the speedometer so no one will know.
Oh, you DeLorean. It's doing DeLorean things. Like not starting. It's slow to warm up. Come on, warm up.
Oh, this is so cool.
Make sure that's okay.
This is I need a compass.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah,
Actually-
baby.
Actually, we do.
Which movie did they not need roads? That was like the Western one, right?
Well, that started at the end of the first movie.
Oh, God. Okay.
You know, a lot of people call this the Part 2 car.
Because that's the Mr. Fusion in the
But
back.
reality is, it was the end of Part 1 that he showed up with
Right.
the Mr. Fusion. So a lot of like Kevin Pike gets upset when they call this the Part 2 car. And they go, no, this is the Part 1 car. They had it all.
This
It was
is
just from
amazing.
the end of Part 1 and into the next couple of movies.
Oh, this is
It
amazing.
continued.
So
It's not fast like a Tesla Plaid, but it'll go down the road.
Oh, this is so good. This is amazing. And it works. It's functional. This is great. How
There's a real
fast are we going?
speedometer. 48.
48-ish, right?
There's the cops.
Shut up, really.
That was a cop.
Stop it.
What's the speed limit here?
I don't know. I'm like new to Kansas. I think it's 55, but I'm not sure. Which you have there. The government mandated 55 in orange up there. Oh, this is amazing.
You know, the speedometer isn't that far off. It says we're going 65, and this thing says 65.
Okay, good. I like when that happens.
Yeah.
That makes it safe. I want to press like every... Wait, is this Xmas tree?
Oh, that's this thing back here.
The Christmas tree back there. Okay. I want to press all these buttons. Rear deck, what does that one do?
I don't know.
Okay, good. Project lamp.
One of these might be the ejector seat.
That would be so
School
cool.
bus behind me. I need to find a place.
So you literally would do like, watch the movie and do like screen grabs to get all these electronics correct.
I'll tell you, back 20 years ago, before there was like screenshots and stuff,
Yeah.
I actually took pictures of my TV screen. I would play the VHS tape.
That's great.
And I actually took a Polaroid of the TV.
It's amazing. I mean, you have to. There's another way to get it.
That's how old
Accurate.
school I am.
Do you know where the original one is living right now?
Yes, the original car has been lovingly restored and is at the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles.
Right.
So that's where it lives. And we try to build this to be as accurate to that car as possible, so that if you were to look at this car and look at that car, you would find the similarities.
This is amazing. Are you worried about driving it? Because you got so many additions on it.
This is like the 50th one I've had. I've got hundreds of thousands of DeLorean miles under my belt, and I'm quite comfortable in the car.
Which one sold for the most? Do you know?
I think the highest one that I personally sold that wasn't sold third party.
Yeah.
Sold at Barrett-Jackson, Las Vegas a few years ago. I think it was about 170.
Right.
But I've seen my cars sell third party for higher than that, which always annoys me because I would have liked to have had the money.
Of course. Well, and you build the Ecto ones too.
Yes.
How do those do? How are the value of those doing?
Well, as you know, at the most recent Scottsdale Barrett-Jackson, they sold an Ecto one. I didn't build that one, but that one sold for $300,000. And I have a '59 Cadillac Millimeter that we're either gonna build it or sell it. I don't know what we're gonna do with it.
Right.
I need to find a spot to U-turn.
Well, and the one you did at Barrett-Jackson had like the patina finish. Do you think that affected the value of it?
Oh, I did a what was called
like
an
a
afterlife.
Fauxtina?
It was called the Afterlife version. And it was the rusty version from the movie Afterlife.
Right.
And it just didn't sell well. It didn't translate well.
Yeah.
People want the shiny Chrome 84 version.
Yeah, I bet.
They don't want the rusty one.
I want this. In this version, this one right here. It's amazing, Bob. You do such a great job.
Thank you.
All right, let's hit 88. I'm just kidding. We're going to hit 55 because that's the speed limit. Thanks so much for watching. This is going to be at the museum in Kansas. You got to check it out. Video Bob, thanks so much for coming.
It's already there. I'll see you yesterday.
Sounds good. Thanks so much for watching. This is so cool! Woo!
Let's go 80.
This is amazing.
Watch. I'm going to show you something cool.
Yeah?
If I actually go 88, which I'm going to do here in a second, watch. We're going 95. I need to slow down. We're in Mexico. We're in Mexico.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, so if you actually go 88, it actually does that.
That's amazing. I want to go into the future to see how electric cars
Let's go to the
are
future
doing.
and see how big the ticket is I get from going 95 on a rural road.
This is amazing.